The clock is ticking on the urgent mission of the so-called super committee. A dozen lawmakers from both sides of the aisle. They're supposed to save more than $1 trillion from the deficit and help to save America from even more serious economic problems. They said they'd be open about their work and give the public a chance to be heard. But they've been staying very much behind closed doors and keeping the public very much in the dark. Our congressional correspondent, Kate Bolduan, is up on Capitol Hill. She's looking into this story here. Kate, what's going on here? This was not supposed to be like this.
Hey there, Wolf. Well, I'm standing out front right now as people are passing by. Right behind me is this nondescript room. This is where the super committee has been meeting all this week and will be meeting again this evening behind closed doors, which has some government watchers with this committee. Since this committee has such a huge job before them, some government watchers are calling this approach troubling.
Good morning.
The so-called super committee began its work with a promise of transparency.
I believe the American people deserve to have full access to committee business the way they do with every committee here in Congress.
There will be ample opportunities for the public to have their opinions heard.
But with just 7 weeks before their Thanksgiving deadline, the committee has met in public only 3 times. The 12 members meeting more often in private and offering almost no detail on any progress they're making.
Make progress.
The closed-door meetings have government watchdog groups up in arms, accusing the powerful committee of inappropriate secrecy.
Transparency is especially important for the super committee because they're basically replacing the rest of Congress. They have far more power than any other committee has.
John Wonderlich is with the Sunlight Foundation, one of more than a dozen groups calling on the super committee to open up, saying members should also disclose campaign contributions and any contact with lobbyists.
We think that the amount of power that the super committee's been given should come with some disclosure and transparency that's at least equal to that, especially if they're going to be fundraising and meeting with lobbyists at the same time.
But Jim Manley, a former top aide to Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, says getting behind closed doors may be the only way to get anything done. Look no further than this summer's debt ceiling fiasco.
Aides immediately ran out and gave a blow-by-blow description almost in real time to reporters. I don't think that was helpful for the process.
Manley suggests that less talk from the committee could actually be a sign of good progress.
After all, every vote they take is going to be in public under the Klieg lights of C-SPAN and CNN, and if that's not real accountability, I don't know what is.
Now, Wolf, I will tell you, just a short time ago, as actually we were speaking, members of the super committee began to walk beside us. None of them decided to stop to speak to CNN about this committee meeting. But I will tell you, to the point that Jim Manley was making in that in our piece, an aide to a super committee member assures me that the committee will continue to have public hearings, public meetings, as well as public votes, but that members feel very strongly that the best way, the only way really that they think that they're going to be able to reach bipartisan agreement in this hyper-partisan environment in this short period of time is getting away from the spotlight and being able to have private conversations about how to reach this very difficult compromise. Wolf.
Yeah, that's the dilemma, because they always promise that C-SPAN cameras will be in all of these hearings. The American public will have full access, whether on this, whether health care, whether energy, and earlier administration, and then something happens and they go behind closed doors and people complain, but that's the nature of Washington. Things haven't changed all that much. Kate, thanks very much. Jack Cafferty is joining us right now. He's got some news in the Cafferty file. Jack.
The lobbyists have access to the super committee, though, don't they?
Well, money talks, as they say, Jack, and you and I know that.
Absolutely disgraceful.